Guilds of Goldwood is a quick two-player army-building bluff fest, or a tight solo strategy adventure. In this video, I want to focus on the two-player experience and look at what a round of gameplay might look like. Both players are guildmasters of rival adventuring guilds. You aren't in direct, bloody conflict with each other, but you are certainly competing over the most lucrative contracts, the strongest personnel, and maps and ancient spellbooks that may or may not lead to treasures beyond measure or long-buried horrors. Oh, you're also cute, but well-armed forest animals. You start out leading a guild of inexperienced adventurers, but as the game progresses, your individual crew members will level up along 6 different class tracks, similar to evolving a Pokemon. While your guild gets stronger, the stakes are raised in kind. The quests will turn from simple deliveries and shakedowns into defending the realm against world-ending calamities as the guilds of Goldwood become the realm's last line of defense and most unlikely of heroes. The lore of this world runs deep, but the gameplay is relatively simple. Each round, 4 quests are laid out in front of the players, with unique criteria and rewards. The core of the gameplay comes down to deciding how and where to divide up your crew to maximize the rewards that best advance your strategy. Maybe in one round there is a certain quest reward that you really desperately need, like this Remember the Vows, which would let you upgrade your Tier 3 Lizard Knight to the top of the Oathsworn track. Being the first to have a Tier 4 crew this game is sure to give you a huge edge. Maybe you'll want to send the maximum of 5 of your crew to that one quest just to ensure you win it. Maybe you send 5 crew, but it's all your worst cards in hopes of bluffing your opponent away from trying to compete with you for it. Since you're the first player in this example, let's also throw 1 crew at the Stone to Silver quest, the one you care least about winning. Now, you get to sit back for a minute while your opponent decides their placements. And yes, it looks like you scared them off from competing over the Oathsworn upgrade at Remember the Vows. So now, for these last 2 quests, you have extra information. Your opponent sent 2 crew to each. Now you can decide how badly you want to win those versus how many resources you want to save for next round. Let's go for it and send 3 crew to each quest in an attempt to win 3 out of the 4 quests this round. You've only left yourself 6 crew cards to spread amongst all 4 quests next round, which could be disastrous, but that's a problem for next round. Now that deployment is done, we see who wins the best rewards at each quest, starting with the quest closest to the deck, Awkward Tea Party. Let's flip up the crew here and see if your 3 crew were enough to steal first place. The big icon in the corner is what stat determines which player is favored and thus wins the first place reward. Since this quest cares about cunning, both players total up the cunning of every crew they have at the quest, and whoever has the most wins. So first place rewards go to you. This icon means upgrade. This is the most common way to improve your crew. What this iconography means is choose 3 of your crew from anywhere that are Tier 1 and trade them in for the next tier up in their class. Tier 1 crew count as 2 different classes, so if you decide to upgrade the 3 apprentices you sent here, for example, you could trade 1 in for a Windrunner along the Tactician's track, and 2 in for Alchemists, the Academic track, just for a bit of diversification. However, most quests also have a second place reward. As long as the non-favored player has at least 1 crew there when the rewards are being granted, they get a little something too. So one of your opponent's apprentices gets to upgrade as well, just for showing up. Next, we move on to Stone to Silver. The victory criteria here is a little different. Most quests have this doubling favor condition in addition to the most condition pictured below it. If either player has double or more of this stat than their rival, they win the quest's favored reward. So, since your opponent has double your magic, there's no need to even count up cunning. First place reward goes to your rival. Your opponent is rich now. Not only do they win the gold from the quest reward, the alchemist they sent here also gets them an additional gold from its effect. Now this next quest is a close one. Your opponent has more brawn than you, but that doesn't actually matter since you managed to double your rival's cunning with the help of your powerful wayfinder. The double condition always takes priority if it's met, so you get the first place reward. And now you have a choice. Arrows mean trade. This triple arrow means you can make the trade up to 3 times. You only have 4 gold, but you might as well spend it. So 3 more upgrades for you. You could upgrade those 3 crew that you just upgraded at the tea party a moment ago. Lastly, remember the vows. You sent 5 crew here, the maximum allowed by the quest. It would be a huge waste of resources, except 2 of the crew here are windrunners, and their effect lets you return them to your guild hall if you don't need to use them to win. The other 3 crew are a bit of overkill, but ensuring getting a tier 4 crew is probably worth the investment. And that's a round of Guilds of Goldwood. As straightforward as the core rules are, there are lots of strategies to explore. Each different upgrade path has a different specialty, but strategies can also emerge when combining the various classes together. For example, those 2 effects we just saw in action, the Windrunner returning crew and the Alchemist gaining gold, they could let you double the gold you normally would if you use the Windrunners on your own alchemists. And that's just one example. In the final round, players will fight over 5 main quests. These main quests are where most of the victory points can be earned, and they not only reward victory points for winning favor, they also give both players additional victory points for certain achievements. The main quests the players will fight over are revealed one at a time during the course of the game, so players will have information about what sorts of things will be important in achieving victory in any particular playthrough. For example, if these 5 quests are revealed, players should try to stockpile gold to trade in for points at the social ladder quest, and otherwise maybe focusing on getting as much brawn as possible is a good idea, since the other 4 quests not only require brawn for the favored reward, but also, in the case of the Outlands, reward extra victory points to each player for each brawny crew they are able to send there. You don't need to burn your brain to enjoy a game full of interesting decisions and satisfying level ups, but the extra layers of strategy are there, ready to be explored and exploited. Like when to go all in and try to win favor via doubling, or planning ahead to maximize that last round, or learning to read your opponent and call their bluffs. Thank you for taking the time to check out Guilds of Goldwood.